Chapter 1, Elementary School Physical Education. Starting on the first page of your book, they list the learning objectives for each chapter, and also they give a little paragraph explaining or talking about the purpose of each chapter. And in it, they explain how PE should be a crucial element in the school curriculum because when you think about it, you hear the saying, healthy mind, healthy body. And if that's so, then this should be a crucial part or an integral part of the child's total growth and development. And PE is a way to assure that to happen. We want to emphasize focusing our PE classes on physical activity. That is what we're trying to promote in our little physical education class. On page 2 at the top, they say, what is physical education? I can sum this up in 3 words that I want you to know. Education through movement. I repeat, education through movement. This is what it's all about. We're trying to teach them how to move in an organized fashion, a disciplined fashion, following rules, learning social skills. That's why I think it's such an integral part of the total child. So in that first paragraph, they talk about physical education professionals often describe it as an essential subject matter, providing students with the skills, knowledge, and attitudes necessary to remain active throughout their lifespan. And that's so true. I want you to know that. So our PE professionals, if you're going to teach PE, if you're going to do a co-teaching with another second grade teacher that you're teaching with, many PE professionals describe PE as an essential subject matter, providing students with the skills, the knowledge, and the attitudes necessary to remain active throughout their lifspan. And that's what's so crucial. In PE, that's the only place that they're actually active compared to the classroom, lunchroom, lining up, to and from going to the bathroom. We're not allowing them to be active in any of those roles. It's only in PE that we allow them to be active. So, in the second paragraph, they're saying physical education is part of the total education program, and it should be. It should be a part of the total education program, but unfortunately it's slighted in many schools where they don't even have physical education for the elementary kids. When they want to move, they're not allowing them to do so, and it's really sad because this is where we are contributing through this physical activity to the total growth and development of all children. So I want you to know physical education is the only component that addresses all 3 learning domains: cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. Cognitive, the mind and thinking, psychomotor, movement, affective, that's your attitudes. I also want you to know no other area of the curriculum is designed to help children to learn how to maintain an active lifestyle. I just got through saying that this is the only part of the total day in which we are actually teaching them how to be active, which we know is a crucial part of successful aging. So, if students, especially those that are inactive and unskilled, I want you to know this. If the students especially those who are inactive and unskilled, receive a low-quality type of instruction in PE, what's going to happen? They will most likely mature into inactive and overweight adults. How many adults do you know that were inactive as a child and flipped a switch and decided to be real active as an adult? Not too many, I would venture to say. I want you to also know physical education may be the only part of the school curriculum that actually offers the opportunity to learn active skills that they will use for a lifetime. For a lifetime. So, we as physical educators must do more than just teach skills and physical fitness. So I want you to know that as PE teachers, we must do more than teach skills and physical fitness. We also have to teach them the importance of healthy eating, how to reduce stress, substance abuse, weight management, and an active lifestyle. I cannot stress that enough. We need an active lifestyle. It doesn't mean I have to be physically fit, but I need to be physically active. Being active can be riding your bike. The child could be riding a bike. It can be you washing your car. It can be you working in a garden or flower bed. Any type of movement is what we want to incorporate an active lifestyle. So we're emphasizing the actual physical side of life, whereas in the classroom, it's more the cognitive and mental aspect of life. And in PE, this is the only area where we can help all the children succeed, not just a certain type or certain group. We no matter what their skill level is, we hopefully will help each person grow and mature physically, mentally, emotionally, and such. So, how did it all begin? What was the evolution of elementary PE? Well, I want you to know back in the 19th century, the Germans and the Swedish immigrants brought to the United States physical education. And when they did this, they focused on body development. The Germans favored gymnastics, while the Swedish favored an exercise program into activities and such. So the PE program in many of the schools adopted this approach from the Germans and the Swedes, and some could be performed in the classroom. But the need for equipment and gymnasiums actually presented a problem. As PE continued to evolve, World War I came about. Well, this is when the emphasis of games and sports came to be, because I want you to know about 1/3 of our World War I draftees were rejected because they were physically unfit for military service. So now, because of this need, there was a new demand that emerged for physical education and fitness in the schools. These programs placed an emphasis on games and sports, mainly in the secondary schools, and it diluted into elementary. You know, what game do you want to play today? Well, they realized they had to have more physical education, more state curriculums in order to meet the demands. World War I was in 1917 when they had that. The training programs where it had emphasis on games and sports, and that's when 1/3 of the draftees were rejected because they were physically unfit. And then we had World War II that I think was in the 1940s or ended in the 40s. And then now in 1950, there was a renewed emphasis on fitness that occurred after this study was done. So I want you to know about the Cross-Weber test, Kraus, Cross-Weber test. This was revealed, this Cross-Weber test of fitness levels they compared the United States and the European children. They compared the United States and European children. And when they did this test in the 1950s, it revealed that the United States children were less fit than the Central European children. So this wasn't good. So as a result of that, I want you to know came about the President's Council on Physical Fitness in Sports. The President's Council on Physical Fitness in Sports. This was established to promote physical fitness among our school children and actually citizens of all ages. They want to increase the emphasis on children's physical activity and nutrition. So the President's Council on Physical Fitness, President Kennedy actually did this. Now we saw a need for some pedagogical influences. Well, what do I mean by pedagogy? The teachers, the professionals within PE who actually identify with the need for some type of different instructional methods and PE programs. So a pedagogy we're talking about within PE teachers or maybe within elementary teachers if you want to talk about their pedagogy. What do they learn from each other about teaching methods and how to teach and what to teach and so forth? So that's your pedagogy. So I want you to know, teachers and professionals who identify a need for different instructional methods and physical education programs, this is what the pedagogical influences were all about, because they were dissatisfied with the status quo and they wanted to make PE a more necessary part of the actual curriculum. So there was a movement education that I want you to know about that originated in England. This was incorporated into our U.S. programs in the late 1960s, and it was all about creativity, exploration, and cognition or problem solving, trying to get the students to think. It wasn't just about physical skills anymore. Now they wanted a more diverse type of movement in the PE setting, emphasizing the individual child and instructions. And what they found is what they were hoping for is creativity in the instructional methods. All students could find success no matter what ability level. Perceptual motor programs were initiated with the expectation to help remedy learning difficulties that students had in the classroom. Basically and that's what I want you to know. These perceptual motor programs actually flourished because there was a deep concern for the slow or delayed academic learners. What they were hoping for or what they saw is that some of the students who were quote unquote slow learners had coordination issues, balance issues, motor development problems. And they really thought these perceptual, and think of the word perception, motor, they thought it was really going to remediate these shortcomings with these students. And they were hoping that it would be a really integral part of the child's academic success. However, that's not what happened. They discovered that these perceptual motor activities did not improve their academics, and so therefore today few of these exist. Conceptual learning was another type of pedagogical influence. When you think of the root word concept, you're thinking of applying abstract ideas that are drawn from an experience and how this can play an important role in PE. And that was the thinking there, to try and improve on the academic side of the importance of why you should do physical education and understand the how, what, and why when you're doing physical activity and exercise. So I want you to know the Fitness for Life program by Corbin and Lindsay back in 2007 was the one that took this conceptual approach to PE. Fitness for Life, Corbin and Lindsay. So they were thinking that if we can teach PE students about why and the what of cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, body composition, and motor ability, then this academic approach would actually increase their physical activity or their desire for physical activity. But that wasn't the case. Increasing their knowledge did not ensure a change in the behavior. And a good example of this is smoking. Many individuals know smoking is not good for your health, but yet people do smoke. So, PE, physical activity rather, should remain the core component of physical education. There's a few federal mandates that I would like you to know about. The first one I want you to know about is Title IX, Equal Opportunity for the Sexes. What I want you to know here, basically the federal law is stating that they want to rule out any type of separation of sexes. If the guys have it, the girls should have something of equal value, just like the guys. And they also are requiring all offerings to be co-educational. I like to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander, which basically means if there's air conditioning in the boys' locker room, then there needs to be air conditioning in the girls' locker room. If there's a sport in the fall, like football, then what sport is offered for the females in the fall? And that's why they have volleyball. So it's equal for both sexes. They want to eliminate that sexism or that sex role typing. Another federal mandate that I want you to know about is Public Law 94-142, Equal Rights for Students with Disabilities. Public Law 94-142, Equal Rights for Students with Disabilities. I want you to know that this mandates that all children have the right to a free and public education and that they must be educated in the least restrictive educational environment possible. Least restrictive educational environment. Basically, this led to what's called mainstreaming or inclusion, in which placing children with unique needs in the regular classroom setting. But what was the problem with this? I want you to know many teachers lack the educational background or the experience or the inclination to handle children with these disabilities. So what was the answer? It definitely is not to ignore the problem, but we need to provide teachers with the knowledge and the constructive approaches that allow them to successfully teach children with all levels of ability. All levels of ability. So know about Title IX and Public Law 94-142. Another federal mandate that you don't need to know for test purposes, but you definitely need to know about it as a teacher is Public Law 101-476, but you may know it as Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And this is where the inclusion of students with these unique needs in the regular education class. So these students should have a specific learning program, and you may have heard of an IEP, an individualized education program, where they monitor the child and figure out what's to the child's best interest, to challenge the student and make their education more personal and individual. Another federal mandate that I want you to know about is the Child Nutrition and WIC program. And this came into existence because there are more than 65% of Americans today who are overweight or obese. So I want you to know that number. 65% of Americans are overweight or obese. And what is it attributed to? I want you to know it's attributed to a decrease in physical activity. And this is why we are pushing to get our kids physically active over 20 minutes of the 30 minutes in a PE setting so that they can get used to movement and enjoy it and like it and not be embarrassed and want to do it outside of the PE setting and outside the classroom. So we have this Child Nutrition and WIC program that came into being in 2004. And basically, what it's saying, if you get federal funds for your school meals, then you have to develop some type of wellness policy that talks about nutrition, that talks about physical activity, and hopefully this will get the students and the community, parents and so forth, administrators, all involved with changing the school environment so that they are more physically active. Some contemporary social influences is Healthy People 2020. This is a nationwide concern for health and physical activity, but I want you to understand a little bit about this. Every decade, every 10 years, you have a new Healthy People come out. So 10 years ago was Healthy People 2010. Now it's Healthy People 2020. Now they're going to start working on Healthy People 2030. What is it? They have four main objectives. You don't need to know this for test purposes, but you need to understand. This used to be like a 700-page document, and it had every minute health goal you can think of eating more greens, of being more physically active, less smoking going on, uh, e- less STDs and such. 700-page document is what it used to be in 2010. I'm not sure what it is now. But what is their focus? They had four main focuses. It's all about having people having high quality living and living longer lives, and we are seeing that. Because the national average used to be around 72 and it keeps increasing 73, 74, 75 for the average age of death. The second objective is to achieve health equity amongst all disparities, no matter what nationality you are. The third one is to create some type of social and physical environment that also promotes good health for all, and we are seeing that in the communities in different cities. And number four is to promote quality of life, health development, and healthy behaviors. So this Healthy People initiative, Healthy People 2020, it's all about human wellness for the children. And we can enhance this if the classroom teachers or PE teachers, if there's a separate PE teachers, parents, administrators, if they all are on board and working together. So I want you to know this wellness instruction that we want to have within our school curriculum should teach concepts that help students develop and maintain an active lifestyle. Here we go again, an active lifestyle. We had a Surgeon General report in 1996 that reported on physical activity and health, and it clearly stated the health and wellness benefits of physical activity for all ages, and it's all about integrating physical activity into your everyday life, being physically active in your everyday life.